Hello, so this class here is designed as a good night style yoga. It takes about 30 minutes and hopefully it helps promote a good night's sleep and rest. I have found it beneficial for myself. So find a space, floor space, and somewhere that you can find a bit of peace and quiet. And we're going to start off this practice in child's pose. So come on down onto your child's pose, and child's pose can look different for everybody depending on what's going on with your knees and your hips. So I personally love child's pose with my thighs apart and slowly bringing my hands down onto the mat and then descending my chest and my forehead down. Your child's pose may look with your thighs together and then coming down. Now, sometimes people's child's pose, this is it, and that's great, that's grand. Sometimes people like to make a fist with their hands and rest their forehead on them. And sometimes people like to take their arms behind and their hands wrap over their heels. So whatever your child's pose looks like for you, find yourself in your child's pose. And I'm going to talk just for a few moments, and if I was in my child's pose, then maybe you wouldn't be able to hear me as clearly. So come into your child's pose that resonates with your body. And take a few moments here just to find your breath. And so inhaling, feel the belly expand, and maybe your belly against your thighs. And see if you can get a sense of your lumbar spine, your low back, where your kidneys are located, an area where we tend to hold a lot of trauma and tension. And with that expansion of the belly, see if you can spread that breath to your low back. So your side ribs and your low back, with your in-breath expand. And with an exhale, there's a softening, a releasing. Now, normally my practices will tend to lean more onto the strength, but for the purpose of this practice, it's going to be more releasing, letting go, and seeing if we can find our breath as a tool to help promote that. So with every inhale, feeling an expansion, a bit of space, and with every exhale, a releasing, a softening, a letting go. And take 2 more full breaths like that in your child's pose. And it may even feel nice in your child's pose to exhale out through the mouth. So like a breath of relief. Your next inhale, take your gaze in between your hands and ride that in-breath up to come onto all fours. Walk your knees underneath your hips and stack your wrists underneath your shoulders. And then step your right foot beside your right pinky finger. And then walk your left knee back a bit. Okay, so take it back a bit to get a nice stretch over the front of the left thigh. And then lean over onto your left hip. So you're leaning over to the left side. And then roll your right foot onto its outer edge. So we're opening up our right knee. Lovely. Relax your shoulders. And then if your left wrist, if this is uncomfortable, and if you can, come down onto your left forearm here. And this is a real great opportunity to move slowly. To move slowly and to communicate with your body. Be with experience. And then if you've come down onto your left forearm, come up onto your left hand and step that right knee back again. Come into that neutral tabletop position. Take a deep full inhale, and as you exhale, send your hips back into child's pose. Take a breath or two in your child's pose. On your next inhale, take your gaze up, ride that in-breath, come back up onto all fours, and this time step the left foot beside your left pinky finger. Walk your right knee back a bit. Roll on to the outer edge of the left foot, and then maybe bring your right forearm down onto the mat. And maybe there's a bit of room here to take the left forearm down onto the mat. Again, be with your own experience. Be with your breath. Soften your shoulders. Notice where you're holding any unnecessary tension. So yes, the sensation here is in the legs, in the hips. But maybe you can relax and soften your jaw, or even have your eyes closed, so that the experience is more inward. Take 2 more breaths here. And then walk back up onto your palms. Take that left knee back onto the mat and come into that tabletop position, taking a deep inhale, filling up with the breath. And then as you exhale, send your hips back into your child's pose. Soften the arms, soften the neck. Forehead comes down towards your mat. And take 2 full breaths here. Seeing if you can find that expansion through the belly, the side ribs, and your lower back. Your next inhale, take your gaze in between your hands and ride back up into tabletop. Curl your toes under, and we'll go into a few rounds of cat-cow. If you need to adjust the position of your knees to take them underneath your hips, press down into your fingertips, find a nice long neutral spine. When your inhale comes, your tailbone goes up towards the ceiling, your belly drops and you look up. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, round through your back, and take your gaze in between your thighs. Inhale first, movement follows. Look up. Wait for the exhale. When it comes, tailbone under, round through all the vertebrae and take your gaze in between your thighs. Keep going with this cat-cow with the rhythm of your own breath. Sensing any stickiness in your spine. Really slowing down the movement and using your breath here as a tool with those exhales. Long and extended. Come back into that neutral tabletop. Start to walk your hands a giant step forward. Keep your knees stacked up over, or your hips stacked up over your knees. Toes are curled under, and start to draw your body through your arm bones. Keep your hips sticking up towards the ceiling into this puppy pose. The arms are active. Take 2 full breaths in your puppy pose. As you inhale, ride back up to tabletop. Walk your hands back so that our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Take a deep inhale, exhale, uncurl your toes, send your hips back into child's pose. As you inhale, ride back up. As you exhale, send your hips back into child's pose. Once more. In breath comes first. Ride it up into tabletop. Exhale, follow, send the hips back into child's pose. When your next inhale comes, come to sit up on our knees, on our shins. And then make your way onto a seat. Okay, on your butt, find your seat. So on seat here, we're going to look at any unwanted junk. So any unwanted stress or tension that may be in our bodies. And seeing if we can find and use our breath to soften and release. So have your feet pressed down, our knees are bent, our feet are pressed down onto the mat or onto the floor. And take your feet about hip distance, slightly wider. Sitting up nice and tall here. And then let both knees fall over towards the right. Okay. Bend that left knee a bit more and send the foot back. So we're looking at our right leg. So turn your torso towards the right. And then slowly fold over that right thigh, or that right calf. So this is for a version of pigeon pose. Forearms come down, press down into your hands, and you may be here, or you may soften and fold over the entire leg. And again, using that breath to release any areas where you have a tendency to grip or to hold on or to tighten. Softening. And then slowly, with the support of your hands, push yourself back up. Turn your torso back to center. Come back up. And then take your knees both down towards the left. And so bend that right knee, take it back a bit. Reposition. Find length through your spine first of all. And then once you've found your spot, start to fold over either the calf or the thigh. Let your head relax, the facial muscles. Scan the body for areas that you can relax. Softening, releasing, and emptying the exhales all the way out. And you might grab a pillow here or even a blanket to bring the ground up, or make a pillow with your hands and allow your forehead to come down. When you're ready, use your hands, push yourself up to a comfortable seat. Again, bring your torso back to center, bring both knees up, feet are on the floor. And then cross your legs so we come into a cross-legged seat. Bring your hands onto your knees, and here we're going to do our seated cat-cow. So if you did have a blanket or a pillow and you do wish to place it underneath your seat to elevate your hips, then do so. Hands are onto our knees, wait for the in-breath. When it comes, inhale, lift your chest, round your shoulders onto your back and look up. As you exhale, tuck your chin into your chest, round, feel the back body opening. Take your gaze towards your navel. Inhale. And exhale. Come back with a nice long neutral spine. Place your right hand down onto the floor beside you. Press down into your right hand, and as you inhale, lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, send that left arm up and over the head. You can even bend this right arm, come down onto your forearm, keeping your torso lifted, sending it up towards the ceiling. Ground down, especially through your right sit bone. In breath brings you back up. Left hand comes down onto the mat. Right arm reaches up. Look at your right hand. And then as you exhale, send the right arm across the ear over towards the left. And maybe here you can come down onto your forearm. You can stay up onto your hand, just opening, seeing if you can find space through the side ribs. Take one more breath. As you inhale, bring that right arm back, both hands onto your knees, and do another round of cat-cow. As you inhale, chest up, look up, shoulders roll onto your back, opening our front body. As you exhale, tuck your chin into your chest, round and take your gaze towards your navel. As you inhale, head up, chest up, heart lifts, look up. And as you exhale, opening the back body. One more cat-cow. And now make your way down onto your back. When you come down onto your back, hug both knees in towards your chest. Take your hands on top of your knees here. And as you exhale, draw the knees in towards your belly, your torso, or towards your armpits. As you inhale, gently push your thighs, your knees away. As you exhale, draw the knees in, and as you inhale, create length and space. Placing the soles of the feet down onto the mat, take them as wide as your yoga mat or wider than hip distance. Take your arms out to the side or even cactus arms, and here we're going to do our windshield wipers. As you inhale, fill in the chest, the belly with breath. And as you exhale, take both knees over towards the right. In breath brings both knees back up to center. And as you exhale, both knees over towards the left. Keep going with this movement with your own breath. If there's an area that feels sticky, tight, you can pause there, sending your breath to that area, and again using that exhale to soften and release any unwanted junk, any stress or tension that has accumulated throughout your day. And now we're going to go up and do plow pose and a shoulder stand. So for those of you that have any neck issues that you know about, or feel uncomfortable with doing an inversion here, then keep doing this movement, releasing any tension in your low back with the windshield wipers. And for those of you that would like to try and do a shoulder stand and plow pose, bring your knees in towards your chest and then kind of shuffle your shoulders onto your back. Okay. And then take your legs up towards the ceiling. You can have your knees bent. And roll up on to your shoulder blades and take your hands onto your back, your low back. So for me here, my thumbs are wrapped around my low ribs and my fingertips are going in towards my spine. Legs can be straight or your knees can be bent for this inversion. And although this seems effort, lots of effort, and it is, for me personally, after I've done a shoulder stand and then into plow pose, it really, really helps for me to have a sound night's sleep. So pressing into your elbows, supporting your low back with your hand, keeping your chin tucked in towards your chest. And then bend your knees in. Take your knees outside to your ears and then extend your legs out and over your head. Your legs can be straight. Your knees can have a soft bend. Doesn't matter where your feet go. Don't try and force them to go and touch the ground behind your head. Remember, we're finding a bit of ease. We're working slowly and efficiently. Take a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly roll the mid back, the low back, down onto your mat and hug your knees in towards your chest. Take the soles of the feet to the mat. Take the soles of the feet together. Allow your knees to open out to the side and rest your hands here on your inner thighs. Bring one hand onto your upper chest, bring one hand onto your low navel, and just notice any sensations here in your body. Bring your awareness here to your breath. The length of your inhale, the length of your exhale. And noticing any comparisons between the two. When you're ready, release your hands. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around the front of your shins. Give yourself here a rock from side to side. Roll over onto a side and gently supporting yourself with your hands, push yourself up to a comfortable seat. When you arrive up into your seat, come here cross-legged. Bring your hands together in front of your heart space. Close your eyes or with a soft gaze. May I be well and at peace. May all beings be well and at peace. I bid you a good night's sleep. I bid that you're safe and well and healthy. And thank you for sharing and allowing me to share this practice with you all.